All right, family, it's Tasha, MAMABEAR prepping. You already know what time it is. Get your drink, pull up, just moving on to water. Already drank a bunch of coffee today, and so we're on to water, okay? That's usually what I drink. And it is delicious. Okay. So what I want to talk about today is preparing for, get this out of the way, preparing for cyber attacks. So I had several people reach out to me yesterday. Hey, Tasha, had you heard about the White House basically warning us about cyber attacks, right? And for me, that's no surprise. First of all, I don't know if you remember several months ago, before the whole Russia-Ukraine popped off, when we were just doing like the workup conversations, you know, they were talking, the White House was talking a lot about cyber attacks and what could happen. And, you know, they had their representatives, if you remember, coming out, the heads of those departments, the heads of, you know, Department of Defense, IT, all that, coming out and discussing things and talking to us. And they were doing this whole push of talking to companies to tell personal companies to up their game, up their cyber security, up their security as a whole, because intel of other countries doing stuff to us, primarily Russia, as we were ramping it up to what they could or could not do to us, okay? Now, then it kind of went quiet a little bit, right? And then now all of a sudden tomorrow or yesterday, we get hit with, hey, there's more intel, there's more intel. Now, let me give you my personal opinion about our readiness in regards to cyber warfare. I think that as a military and as a federal government, we are ready for cyber attacks. For us in the military, we have been trained on cyber warfare for a while now, okay? So we've been on game for a while in regards to cyber and cyber warfare and protection against that and things to do and training and all of that. And so I think that as a whole, the good news for us kind of is that federal government is ready for cyber attacks, and that is a huge piece of what they concentrate on. And I think that militarily wise, same thing, okay? However, where the downfall is, or where I think the concern falls, is in the civilian sector, the personal companies, the civilian companies, right, that own big companies, big tech companies, big apps, big whatever, right? These huge corporations. And if they have not taken it serious and upped their game over the last decade even on cyber awareness and protection and all that, and from the little guy that works the little menial type jobs to the big stuff, right? I think that if that company, that personal company, has not taken that on, then that's where we run into problems, and you run into those infrastructures being compromised. That includes our grid, you guys. Our grid, we already know our grid is trash, right? And so those companies, those entities, if they have not taken cyber attacks, cyber awareness, cyber security serious enough, meaning put money into that to protect them from that, that's a problem, okay? And I think that over the last couple years, we've seen a couple examples happen and play out. And hopefully those examples have made other companies more aware of how vulnerable they could be and how it would impact them. And maybe just impacting them on, hey, those cyber people want a ransom and want some money. That costs them, you know, or the people and the money it costs them for systems and things being down that we, you know, need or want or use as a customer. So what I did today was, let's talk about soft attacks, hard attacks, grid attacks, comms attacks. Those are the things that I think you should expect, okay? Soft attacks, I think, are already happening. I did a video a little while ago about the internet situation, and a lot of people were like, hey, that could be the solar interference, right? Because we're having a lot of solar storms and a lot of activity with the sun, and that is true. But there is a lot of funky stuff going on when it comes to TV, internet, connections between TVs and the internet, connections between TVs and, you know, just the web, slow internet, no internet. There's just a lot of funky stuff going on. And over and across the board, nothing is wrong when you call companies, right? And it's not that that's funny so much, or hey, something's happening, but it is a red flag because we went from not having that be an issue to now all of a sudden, ever since the war started, you guys, that's conveniently when stuff started going wonky with the internet. Okay, I hear it all day, every day, all over the country that this stuff is happening. And nobody's really talking about it, right? Was it Spain a couple weeks ago got hit super hard with cyber stuff, and it's like we don't care. We're not talking about that stuff, okay? But obviously we're getting intel now to where the president feels like he needs to tell the American people that there is a threat there, okay? So that tells me now harder attacks may happen, meaning attacks that you cannot hide from the public, right? Big entities, big things happen, big things get attacked in a way that you cannot hide it. You can't just slide it under the rug because people know. People work there, it's going to get out. Or it's so obvious, like the whole world, a major app goes down, everybody knows about it, right? And so you can't hide that stuff, okay? So I think that this intel coming in is that I think soft attacks have been happening. I think harder attacks are going to come. I think that you should be prepared for two things if I was the enemy to attack, and that's comms and that's infrastructure, right? Like utility type infrastructure that directly leads to our quality of life, okay? Those are the two things. And with an infrastructure that is already weak that's not a very good look, okay? So ways to protect, or three areas I think that we should concentrate on, or that I concentrate on, and that is tech-wise, grid-wise, and major communication-wise. So tech-wise, I got stuff like, so your basic tech stuff, right? Your basic security stuff you would do, right? So changing passwords should be happening right now, especially if you've had a password for a very long time. Complicated passwords, not easy stuff. You should be having some sort of virus and protection type software, okay? Something that is doing regular checks on your system to ensure that it is not being attacked, okay? And that stuff is not getting in that could compromise it. You should be, if you could get a VPN, cool. If you, let's see what else, basic stuff, right? Like not opening links. That's email stuff. So if you don't know who the email come from and there's a link, don't be clicking it. Lately, a thing for phishing has been text messages. They'll send a ton of text message saying, hey, do you want to do this? Click the link. Hey, you need to fix your banking information, blah, blah, blah. Click the link. Hey, you can get a loan. Click the link. All these text messages that they send, do not open that stuff. If you can view it without opening it and see that it's something that's obvious spam or whatever, do not open it. If you open it, absolutely do not click on anything, okay? And this is a conversation that you need to have around the whole house with kids, everybody, because for example, your kids, if they game, all types of stuff and scams come up on games. Different YouTube stuff pops up for, hey, go to this website and do this to get free Robux, all this type of stuff, okay? So you've got to talk to your kids about scams and how that stuff, you don't even know how many times my kid comes like, oh, I just heard about blah, blah, blah on TikTok, or I just heard about this. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Are you crazy? So you really got to talk to your kids, because there's all types of creative ways that a hacker can get into a system, and once they're in, it's a wrap, okay? So tech wise, really monitor your email alerts and stuff like that, right? The emails you get like, hey, somebody just tried to go in and access this account, or do this or do that, or somebody just tried to change a password for this, whatever. Those are the emails I want you to pay attention to, okay? But also me making sure that those emails that are telling you to do something are authentic and from the actual place, right? If you get something from your bank and any part of it looks fishy, you need to be calling the bank directly and be like, did you guys just send me an email saying this, this, and this, okay? Don't automatically be clicking on stuff to correct stuff, okay? If you're going to email alerting something happened, you call that entity directly to resolve it, okay? One, you're confirming that it's real, and two, to actually resolve it with the actual people and not fake people. All right, next area is grid-wise. So, right, if they go over our infrastructure, they go over toilet system, right, sewer system, water system, power system. Out of all those that I'm fearful of anybody getting into, and before people know, and that's water systems. Now we have all types of stuff that are in place, alarm system, all types of stuff in place to alert people that stuff is wrong, all right? But complacency sets in different things, and that's where people get hurt. Okay, we already had some water grids get attacked, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago now, and somebody caught them. But if they had not caught them and they were, let's say, being complacent that day or whatever, it would have been a bad day for people if that water would have got to somebody through the tap. They poured the water and they went to drink it, because we blindly are trusting of the water that comes out of the tap, and that's a problem. Okay, there's not much you can do except regulate what's coming out as far as the news and emergency broadcasts and what's happening with your water systems or grid systems. Obviously if it's power, you know right away. But pay attention to that stuff. Having a good filter system right off jump is good. But again, that's the stuff that scares me, is that water gets compromised and it's not caught soon enough, because that's dangerous. People will get sick and die right away. Okay. You will know something major is happening. Sewer, gas, this affects gas, the food, ATMs, banks, right? Grid down stuff, right? The power is down, all the other things that affects. You can't go to a gas station and swipe your card to get gas. You can't go to the ATM and get cash now. Possibly banks are closed. Imagine one bank getting hacked to the point where people cannot get their money out of that bank for whatever said amount of time while they're being hacked. That's major. Take a major bank. I won't name any, but take a major bank. Let me mute this, you guys, because somebody's texting me like crazy. Take a major bank and let that bank go down, and nobody can get money from that bank that day or for their ATMs. That's mayhem. Okay. So that goes directly to quality of life. Okay. One little thing could really mess some things up. See how I didn't turn it off, you guys? Okay. Next thing is communications, major communications. So this is taking down major apps, communication apps, like your Facebook, your Instagram, ways that people talk to people, WhatsApp, Discord, ways that people communicate, internationally. Okay. Not just, picking up the phone and calling local, right? But a lot of these apps that have to do with communicating with family members and people that are overseas or whatever the case may be, okay? Internet, I've already mentioned soft attacks. I think soft attacks have already been happening, but imagine something more extreme in regards to the web or the internet or disruptions with that. Think about comms, phone lines, phone companies, cell phone companies, things like that. That stuff starts going down. That's a big deal. Satellites, right? We already had a while ago where Russia actually sent a missile up in the air and destroyed their own satellite, right? To destroy it, right? And they did it really haphazardly or whatever. But, I think the point was made to just show that, one, for them, they could confirm that they could do it. And for the rest of the world, confirm, they could do it. Okay. So I think that any enemy, when you talk about disruption and making things difficult for them, communications is a huge piece of that. And if you take that down, that's a huge battle that you've won, okay? A huge disruption. So I think there's a lot of areas, you guys, when it comes to cyber awareness and things that we can do to prepare for it. There's more things than what I just discussed today. I just think that take pause, take note. I don't think it's bread and circuses. That's one. I think that this is a real threat. I think that it's been a real threat for a while. That's why our federal government and our militaries have already been planning for this and training our people for this for a while, because it's a valid threat. Okay. And if they can get through, that's a bad day. I think that, again, what we have to worry about is those private sector companies who have their own right to determine what they feel like the threat is and what they will do to protect their company, therefore protect us, the customer, that may or may not be using them. That's the issue or concern. Okay. So I hope you guys found some value in this video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the topic, of the things that you guys are doing to prepare. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. All right, take care. Bye.